Okay, so on to the operator's resale responsibilities. So under the Code of Practice, this can be broken down into 3 areas. So marketing, fees, and your exit payment. So under marketing, the operator must take proper steps to market the unit. So information that the exiting resident should be communicated about is when the unit is going to go up for resale, the general nature of the marketing plan, and any charges relating to the marketing and the sale of that unit. So that's what I was talking about, those additional fees. And the operator must provide monthly updates on the progress of the marketing. Fees, so I have touched on the weekly fees before. So under the Code of Practice, the weekly fee must be reduced down to 50% if your home hasn't been on-sold or relicensed after 6 months, the latter of that 6-month period, or the time once the resident actually moves out. So it's in a really unlikely circumstance where an ORA is ended but the resident remains living in that home, then the operator can obviously, they're still within their rights to charge that weekly fee. So it's the latter of those two. All fees for personal services, so for example, if you were receiving an hour of housekeeping each week, as soon as you move out and your ORA ends, then the village must stop charging those services straight away. The exit payment, so the operator must pay the former resident what's owed to them in full after receiving the amount from the incoming resident, so 5 working days after they receive that amount in full from the incoming resident. So this is a big question. What happens if there's a delay in resale, and how are you kind of looked after as the exiting resident? So under the Code of Practice, there's certain criteria that must be met at the 3-month, 6-month and 9-month mark. So after 3 months, if your home hasn't been on-sold or relicensed, then the operator must report in writing to the former resident and then provide detailed monthly reports thereafter. If your home hasn't been relicensed after 6 months, then the operator is actually required to get a valuation completed on the home to make sure that the asking amount's not over and above what that home's actually worth, and therefore that's causing the delay in resale. Now you as the exiting resident can also get a valuation completed, but if you chose to do that, it would be at your cost. Now, if you did choose to do that, then the operator must consider both valuations when looking at the price they have that home listed for. After 9 months, the former resident may take a dispute notice to the Retirement Village's dispute panel if they chose to do that. So questions to ask about the sales process. One, are you liable for capital loss? Currently in New Zealand, it's uncommon, but it's always a good question to ask. How soon those weekly fees will be ceased? Does the village have an assurance that they will be ceased straight away? And if not, when will they end? Can you apply for an early repayment sum? So this is not standard across all New Zealand villages, but some operators, such as MetLife Care, you can actually apply for an early repayment sum while you're waiting for your home to be relicensed and to actually receive the money owed back to you. So for example, MetLife Care, you can apply for up to $20,000. And some operators also will actually start paying interest on the amount owed back to you if they haven't sold your home after a certain amount of time. So again, this is not standard across all villages. It's not a requirement under the Code of Practice. It's what I like to refer to as additional assurances that some operators do actually have. So it's always a good idea to ask the sales manager or the village manager, what additional assurances does your village actually offer to residents, specifically in the sales process part.